Wednesday morning. Yes, the pulled lamb worked just fine. Of course it did. You knew it would work. The challenge now will be to keep Andre from eating it all before I figure out how to get enough gravy to make it work in the pot pie. Can you hear the vacuuming in the hallway? That's the cleaning lady doing the stairs in our building. The shortbread I have prepped but not baked, so I don't have results on that yet. But I'm aware, I know this is only day 2 of this, but I'm aware already of the tendency to get stuck in the recipe development and not be focused so much on the growth. Not to say that recipe development isn't important, but it's not the only thing. That's the vacuum cleaner hitting the door. Is there any other time I could have filmed this? Also, you can tell working from home, this is what you look like most of the time, especially when you work with food. My hair is always back. I say that just because, I don't want you to think that there's any glamour going on here, because there is none. But along the lines of the recipe development, I don't want to get stuck doing just that, because in some ways it's the easy part, right? It's the fascinating part. I wonder what happens if I make lime shortbread. I wonder what happens if I make chicken shortbread. Instead of, I wonder what happens if I take that shortbread out to the hairdresser and offer it to her and then take more the next day, and then can I get an order from her? I'll forget, or I'll get stuck in the look at me cooking things, and that can be part of this, but I don't want it to be all of it. That's it. This is a Kugelhof. Can you see it? Which is a pastry bread from the Alsace region of France, which is right at the border of France and Germany. And you can get these all over the city. It's like a bread that's baked in a mold with almonds and some kind of fleur d'orange or fleur de rose. It's not alcohol, but it has a sort of fruity, flowery syrup. Anyway. If you can get them from the Alsace region, they're even better. And Andre was there yesterday in Strasbourg, and so he brought me one home, which is very exciting. I have tried to make this before. Again, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of recipe development, although it is fascinating. I have tried to make this before, but like I said, I think I said in yesterday's video, when I'm making a new recipe, I do it 3 times, and if I can't see progress, then I bail and don't bother to develop it, because there's so many other things to work on. And this is one where I tried it and it so didn't work, and it didn't work at all, that I realized that I didn't understand the premise of it at all. And so I went on to something that I did understand. And the reality is, I think one of my distinguishing features is that I'm doing Canadian and American baking, and this isn't that. And there's lots of French people who can make Kugelhof. The thing that makes me different, I think, in Paris is that I speak English, so people practice their English with me, which they find quite fascinating. And I'm cooking food that is Canadian, which, as far as France goes, Canadian food is sort of right up the line between British and American. And I know that if you're from Canada, Britain, or America, you think that's bullshit. But when you're in France, if you want chicken pot pie, that's Canadian. And if you want barbecue ribs, that's American. And if you want coronation chicken, that's British, but it's in the line of a Canadian chicken pot pie. And so you can see how the reason I position myself as Canadian is because it puts me able to cater both American stuff and British stuff. That turned out to be important before, because I have gotten work specifically because I did British style food. Again, I never really thought about the origins of Canadian food being British. Of course it is, but I never really thought about it before until I live outside of Canada and I'm representing Canadian culture and Canadian food, and I don't know what I'm doing. Which is a long way of saying I'm not going to try to make Kugelhof, but I am going to eat it. And I'm going to commit to doing something today that advances this bakery thing in a more concrete, tangential way, and it's not just recipe development. And I will be able to report back on that tomorrow. I just don't know what it is yet. Here's to accountability. Okay, bye. Okay, bye.